So we see that we have sine squared plus cosine squared equals 1. We know from experience that the other two trigonometric identities are going to be 1 plus cotangent squared equals cosecant squared. And we know the other one is going to be tangent squared plus 1 equals secant squared. Now you might ask yourself, how in the world did they come up with those last two? Well, I'll show you. When I see that I have sine squared plus cosine squared plus 1, all I'm going to do is I'm going to divide each of these terms by sine squared. When I do so, this cancels and gets me 1. Cosine squared over sine squared is cotangent squared. And 1 over sine squared is cosecant squared, which is exactly what we wrote right up here. Now you might be able to guess the way we get the other one is going to be similar. Instead of dividing by sine squared, we'll divide by cosine squared. So let's rewrite the original equation. And this time we divide by cosine squared. And cosine squared. Alright, sine squared over cosine squared is tangent squared. Cosine squared over cosine squared is 1. And 1 over cosine squared is secant squared. This is exactly what we wrote right here. So really, when you look at this originally and you think, oh man, I got 3 equations here, how am I supposed to remember these? All that you really have to remember is the first one. Sine squared plus cosine squared equals 1, and you can derive the rest by simply dividing by a sine squared or a cosine squared.